Welcome back to DIY Willy. Just when you think we're done with the Samurai, something else breaks. Um, Today we're going to take a look at the rear tailgate and the spare tire carrier. Uh, let's take a look at that. So I've taken the spare tire off already, just for clarity and to make things easier to work with. The hinges have broken bad. See that? They no longer hold the tailgate on the car. So I had to order up some new hinges. They finally came in. They came from Suzuki Parts USA, and well, I think they're better quality. They're thicker. They seem to be a thicker material. They are made in India. Nothing wrong with things being made in India. I noticed a lot of the replacement aftermarket parts for the Samurai are made in India. I've already got a few of them. Anyway, I have to put those hinges on. And if you have worked around Samurais or know about Samurais, the bolts that they use, or screws if you want to call them, that hold all the body panels on the doors, are a monster to get off. That thread locker they use, the compound that holds the threads on, is like glue. That stuff does not come off. Some people heat them up and try to get them off. Some people use a hammer, that hammer type driver where you hit it with the hammer and it loosens them up. I haven't had much luck with that. I did get mine loose, and I'll show you what I did to get them loose. So here's the hinges and the bolts. Now, you can't just take a screwdriver and loosen these things up. They're so tight with that thread locker that it just doesn't happen. You'll wind up stripping the head out or damaging the screwdriver. So what I did is I have an assortment of my tools in my arsenal here, and I took it and I hit it like a chisel, like this. It kind of worked, but this was kind of bulky. It's best if you have a chisel, but I had an old screwdriver head like this, and I was able to get in there and hit it just like that. Of course, it took a couple times to get them, but they eventually loosened up all of them, just like that. And I actually, on the bottom ones and these inner side, in the inner ones, I used my air chisel here and got it in there and worked it around all of them until they got loose. And that did all of it. That fixed the problem. My other option I was thinking about was welding nuts on all of them and then using it that way, but what would do would put the heat into the thread locker and melt the thread locker and be able to loosen them up. But this, I didn't want to damage the paint with the heat from the torch. I tried the heat gun, it didn't do it. It started to burn the top, but it didn't do it. So this worked perfect for me to get them out just by chiseling them and getting them down, or just by chiseling them and breaking them loose. So now with them all loose, we can go ahead and just take them out. This one I used my impact even on. It damaged one of my bits getting it off. Now you want to leave the gate closed when you take these off so that you can realign the hinges. And there's some of that thread locker stuff that's in there. I mean, it's all over the threads. I don't know if you can see that. Almost like a sealant. Might be part of this. Now, I'm going to put them on so I can drive the Samurai again. My tailgate almost fell off with the big 31-inch tire on here, which is a lot heavier than the regular Samurai tire. And see, that hinge is completely broken. Right there, the pin just sheared completely off. I believe these are null at the top up here, so they drive the pin in, it doesn't turn. But I mean, that's completely broken. As I was saying, that tire, that 31, is a lot bigger and heavier than the little tire that goes on the Samurai. I don't remember the size. If I can figure out the size, what the stock size was. I'll put it in the description, but it's a lot lighter than the 31-inch tire I had. But I mean, these are the original hinges, and well, it lasted. I've owned this thing probably 12 years, and it's held up. I've had that 31-inch tire on there since nearly day one, and it's held up just fine until now. You know, the diesel vibrates so much, which was the same problem I was having with the electrical, was the diesel vibrating, causing it to loosen things up. Like this, it broke the hinge. Now, some of it might have broke from the shake of the tire, and the tire has these rubber bushings that go in here, and there's 3 of them. I have only 1 of the 3, and that could be why it was shaking so much, causing this failure. Maybe, I don't know. We'll check it out. Oh, tailgate's gonna fall. There we go. There we go. Hinges are off. It's literally being held on right now by the top. But we'll clean this off, get the silicone off here, the sealant, and clean up where the hinges go, and we'll take a look at those new hinges. Let's take a quick look at those new hinges we got from Suzuki Parts USA. I'll leave a link in the description to Suzuki Parts USA. They have a lot of parts for the Suzuki Samurai. I know the Samurai is not a hugely popular vehicle anymore, but there's still a lot of them on the road. The ones that have been turned into rock crawlers or mud, whatever, you know. So they have a lot of factory parts, but some of their parts are right-hand drive instead of left-hand drive. So there's some that won't work for our cars here in the States with the left-hand drive. Like I have some interior pieces I need, and I'm having a hard time locating them. They sell them, but they sell them for right-hand drive, and I've inquired to see if they're adaptable to the left-hand side, and they said no, they're not. So I've got to figure something else out. I got to try to look elsewhere for those parts. So let's look at those new hinges we got. So the new parts, I picked up a hardware kit. Now this is M8 by 125 hardware, metric hardware, for all the hinges. This will cover all the hinges to get rid of all those blasted Phillips head screws that we can't get out. Once you get them out, you can put this back in. You won't have that problem. I wish they came with lock washers or like serrated edges on the nuts or on the bolts, but they don't. So I don't have any at the moment. Loctite, but I will be Loctiting them in myself with blue Loctite this time, and which is okay because I got to take them off again anyway because the hinges aren't painted. They're just like a primer gray color. So I'll be taking them off to paint. I'm going to try to look for this color paint, the body color paint. If I can't get the body color paint, then they'll just get painted flat black, and it'll mix, it'll blend in and mix all right. So here is the hinge. There is the part number. Genuine Parts and Accessories 67790M, I guess, hinge. And they sell hinges for the front, and they sell hinges for front doors, and they sell hinges for the tailgate, obviously. And these are pretty solid. Get it out of there. One hand operation here. These are a pretty solid hinge. They're considerably thicker than the original hinge. There's the part number again on the hinge. As you can see, look how much thicker they are than the stock hinge. Look at that. It's almost twice the thickness of the stock hinge. and it's definitely not going to shear off like the stock one did from vibration and whatnot. So I'm very happy with this purchase. Now, I did search a lot of different suppliers trying to get the hinges, and I finally went with these because it was from Suzuki Parts USA, so I figured it's got to be good, right? And I was really surprised when I got the hinge of how thick they were, so I'm not worried about them breaking as often, or like these did rather. And I'm glad I bought the hardware pack so I don't have to mess with those blasted Phillips head screws again. And like I said, I'm going to try to paint them this color. If not, then I'll paint them flat black. And they'll look okay because the top is black on the Samurai, so it'll blend all right. And it's got other black accents too as well. So yeah, let's get them mounted on the Samurai and get that door working again. All right, so let's get these hinges on now. You should. I don't have an 1 set 25 tap, or I would have ran the tap through. I could have probably ground one of these bolts maybe through the threads this way and used it to clean the threads out. But really, it's going to be all right. We'll be okay. I'm going to go ahead and mount the top one in there with the new hardware. And I'll probably use my impact to drive them in. And then when we get both hinges on, we'll try to align the door again. I'm going to use this to pick it up. The same pry bar I had. Paying close attention not to strip the threads. Make sure the screws screw in evenly. Making sure the screws go in nice and smooth. Now, there's a silicone or a sealer around the hinge, and you could use that to guide the hinge to its spot to put it in the correct position. I didn't do that. I went ahead and removed it, but you could leave it on there. I didn't know if it was going to get in the way of the actual hinge itself. I'm going to put the bottom one on. Now these screw heads are 12 millimeter, so I'm just going to run them in here with the impact. Try to get them lined up so I can see how much adjustment the door needs. They look pretty good. They seem to be pretty much in the same place. They're not exactly the same size. As you can see, you can see the rust around here. So this hinge on this side is a bit smaller, both sides. There could be some adjustment. I'm gonna go ahead and open it right now and see how it is. Closes and opens really nice and solid. I like that. Even the alignment seems to be pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and run them in tight so they'll stay. There. Now I don't have a torque specification. I'm sure there is one for the hinges, but I just put them on with the impact. I believe the impact's about 100 foot-pounds. I'm not sure. 80 to 100, probably somewhere in that range. Hinges are on. They function perfectly. Really simple, nice repair. Should hold the weight of that 31-inch tire. Looks good. And the color's not even that bad. I mean, I could leave it that until I paint the car. It's not that bad. But yeah, they look good and they're way thicker. They're gonna be so nice. Door's really solid now. It looks good on there. All right, getting you guys up here closely, get a closer look at the hinge. You can see where I trimmed the sealant that went around there. I could do it again on here too, but I'm eventually going to take these off to put Loctite on it and maybe preserve underneath it, stop the rust, and paint the hinges. So this is not a permanent install right now. This is just to get it back on the road. And it's amazing how much thicker, even the hinge part is so much bigger than the original hinge. This thing was puny in size. Now it has holes like this where you should have lubricated it, and I didn't. I did not lubricate. I'll be straight out. Once in a while when I wash it, I might spray some WD-40 in there. But as we know, that stuff evaporates and drips away, washes away really easy. It doesn't stick around where it really needs to. We probably could have used a silicone or try to pump some grease in there maybe and made it work better. But yeah, there we go. Definitely a big improvement over the stock hinges. These are really thin, and just look at the size difference. Crazy. So I needed this tailgate to stay on. You know, I don't want it falling off with that big 31-inch tire on there and hurting somebody or damaging somebody else's car. You know, they sell hinges again for the front, and now that I see the difference in the quality, I might just get those hinges too. These hinges have been modified for the doors to come off. They're cut down the side and or right here on the front, and then on the bottom right there, so that the doors come off easy. And they sell replacement hinges for this too. They even sell the ones that are already modified like this to make the doors come off. And believe me, it's nice when the doors come off in the summertime. Take the top, take the doors off. It's so much better. It's such a more comfortable ride to have. It just feels good with the wind in your face, you know. I say we put the spare tire back on and get this thing ready to go. Boy, that's a big heavy tire. Willy's old man. Not used to that heavyweight stuff anymore. I use lock nuts on all these right here. I try to keep people from stealing it. I'll just run them in right now. There we go. Put my key back in my car. Looks pretty good. This is why I want those rubber stoppers on there, because it does shake a little bit, but it's pretty solid overall. I like it. Let's try to open it with a big old 31 on there. There we go. Look at that. It's definitely heavier, but it works. So this was the replacement of my wore out broken Suzuki Samurai hinges. I replaced it with the hinges from Suzuki Parts USA. They seem to be very well made, good quality, a lot thicker than the original parts, and look really good too. They are primed. I'm going to paint them later, not right now. I got some more work I want to do, and I'll probably preserve underneath it, like I said, but it looks good. The tailgate works again. It's holding everything on there. It's not trying to fall off again. And well, it was a very good, easy installation. Very simple. I hope everybody liked it. I know, again, the Samurais aren't the best vehicle out there. A lot of people have them, but not many people would be interested in this necessarily unless you own a Samurai and have gone through the problem of these hinges, either on the front doors or on the tailgate. Very simple install. They went together very well, lined up easy, and well, I'm really happy with it. So if you liked the video, give it a like, thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my Suzuki Samurai playlist for all the other things I do on the Samurai. I've got the diesel in it. I've got the electric door locks. I rewired it back in the day, but I didn't film that. I didn't document any of that. It was before I had my channel. So yeah, this was a good install. Hope you liked it, and hope you come back for more on my Suzuki Samurai, my projects, my Baja Razor project, where I'm building a Razor and a bug body and putting it together, making a Baja bug. I've got Briggs & Stratton engines I'm building, and of course mini bikes. So thanks for stopping by and checking out the video, and well, I'll see you next time. Bye.